I know I should have jotted down some notes for this because I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget something. But so I woke up this morning with a very strong sense of urgency to talk about this whole abortion situation. So the argument is that it's a woman's body. Do what she wants, right? But this is what we're not talking about. So incest is one of the reasons why Americans feel that it's okay to have abortions. So you have this child who's been violated by, let's just say, her father. And in order to help her to not have to endure any longer, we force her to kill her child. And in some cases, she may want to have the abortion, right? And it's her body. What we're not talking about is this nasty, evil man that did the thing, okay? So don't hear what I'm not saying. Yes, there are men who've been convicted and charged for their crimes. But there's a whole lot more who their sins are being covered up by their own families. So instead of getting this man charged and convicted, we say, oh, keep your children away from Uncle Pete, Cousin Mike, Aunt Julie. You know, Aunt Julie can't get nobody pregnant, but you understand what I'm saying. Sex offenders come in all forms, right? So now Uncle Mike is free to commit this vile act on somebody else because, oh, he's family. So we'll just send little Susie to go stay with Aunt Lucy so that she can have her abortion or have her baby and nobody ask any questions. Now when she has this baby, we're going to let Aunt Lucy raise it as her own. And now Susie is the only one holding this secret about her cousin daughter that she's forced to be around, right? Molech. I need you to look up Molech, Molech. This is a Bible word. It means king. And this is the God or the spirit that people sacrifice their children to. And so just because you're unaware does not mean that you're not participating in child sacrifice. Once again, don't hear what I'm not saying. My heart cries for those who've been raped. My heart cries for those who got this diagnosis from the doctor that says this child is going to be born with this deformity, right? Those aren't the majority of the cases, okay? The majority of abortions are committed by women who decided that this is not the right time for me to have a child. But we're not even talking about, well, this shouldn't have been the right time for you to have sex. We're not talking about that. And so this agenda is a lot bigger than what the eyes can see. We are propping up people who are literally glorifying sin and saying it's okay. But when it comes to other things, you don't see any political party saying, oh, we gonna get behind this whole opioid crisis and we're gonna push it and say it's okay, you know, it's your body. If you want to smoke crack, you can smoke crack. It's all good. You know, we're not doing that. You know, we're not even saying, oh, if you want to be a rapist, let's go do this thing, you know, rally around me. But yet, the result of the crackhead who decided to rape somebody because he was out of his mind, now we're bringing the sin into our own backyard. Now, instead of me trusting God, like, God, this vile thing happened to me. It's tragic. I'm hurting. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with, like, I can't bear this thing. Now, instead of telling me to put my faith in God for comfort, you're telling me to go into this surgical procedure that is not even, like, they're not even talking about what abortion really is. Like, if you have an abortion in early terms, it's literally like just like blood and flesh. It don't look as bad as it is because it's just, you know, this fluid going through a tube. But you got people doing abortions, late term abortions, and you got to crack bones and stuff to get to suction this thing out. We're not talking about that. All we're talking about, we're not even talking about the fathers who don't have a say. Like, if I was in a committed relationship with a man and I decided to kill his child, he has no say. We're not even talking about that. It's my body, right? But that ain't even what I came here to talk about. I really wanted to focus on the whole incest part. Can we stop protecting the perpetrators? If we would lock these dudes away, hey, to be honest, I'm not against castration myself. But what we're ending life, saying it's okay because we decided that us having sex is our choice, which it is. Now us terminating our pregnancy is our choice, which it is. What about all these dudes running around making babies against the will of the woman? Like, we're not even talking about that. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. We're around here making it seem like, oh, it's black versus white. It's male versus female. This is spiritual warfare. I don't understand why you can't see that. For instance, proof is spiritual warfare. Scripture says God is love. Then we turn around and say, love is love. Love who you want. Do this, do that. God created man and woman, husband and wife. Then you got the rainbow, a symbol of God's promise to his people, not to destroy the earth by water. We say, oh, no, we're gonna take what God made and flip it. And now we want this rainbow to represent pride. But even before that, scripture said pride comes before the fall. And some translations say pride comes before destruction. So what they're doing is programming us to think that these antichrist agendas are just human nature. They're just fine. You know, we just want to get along. I didn't intend for this video to be so long, but I just got so much going on, so much in my head, and we're so close to this election that I cannot be quiet on this. Love is love. Pride comes before destruction. It was something else I wanted to say. You have to understand we are in the last days. Scripture says in the last days, there will be a great falling away, and we see it. Your top preachers, you know, people, your best friend that you just was like, oh my God, she loves God so much. All of a sudden she's caught up in witchcraft and, burning sage and doing all the new age practices, right? It's a smokescreen, y'all. They want us to think it's just about black versus white, man versus woman. It's really about Satan against God. He knows his time is running out and he's coming hard, y'all. But scripture also says in the last days, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. So this is why. So you have a whole host of people who are antichrist and don't even know it, right? So those are the great falling away. Then you got a whole host of people that you never thought would be on God's side, that are dreaming, that are having visions, that are just on fire for God. Like, we're literally watching scripture unfold before us. But yet we'll say, oh, it's not all about that. That's not what it is. If we vote for this dude, we gonna, black people, we gonna be back in Jim Crow. We're gonna end up in cages. We already had 4 years of this dude, y'all. Y'all act like y'all don't know what he's about. If there wasn't an agenda, why is the media pushing so hard? Why is the media? So prior to this election, nobody was badmouth. Actually, prior to this election, just remember this. I did not mean for this to be this long. Prior to this election, everybody hated her because she was persecuting all these black men in California or prosecuting for petty drug crimes, right? And also she said that Biden was racist. Suddenly she's on the ticket. They cool, right? Prior to this election, Trump, you see him photographed with all these people, he's in all these places, shaking hands and doing all this stuff. And black people was like, yay, Trump. Now, all of a sudden, the media is pushing, they've switched it. And it's an agenda because they didn't even allow us to vote her in. She was placed there. Prior to that, she was not even the most popular vote on the Republican side. On the Democratic side. She would have never made it on the ticket on merit alone. They had to put her there because they know that she's going to push the agenda that they've already started. Okay? You don't have to be smart to see this. Like, that's why it's so frustrating, because it's like right there in your face. Like, y'all acting like, oh, because she looked like us, we got to vote for her. But bruh, if that's all that it was, why they going so hard to have her change her identity and say, oh, all of a sudden I'm this? Previously I was a proud Native American woman. Now all of a sudden I'm a proud black woman. Like, it ain't even that serious. Like, why? Because they want the black vote. And they know that we'll vote for somebody just because they look like us or because we think that they look like us. She's not even the one that's going to be, she's a face, right? She's a face. So behind the face is still an agenda. Just like they came up against him because he's going against the grain. If she changed her mind today and said, oh, I'm no longer for abortion, and she came up with her own policies that she wanted to fight for, they would throw her under the bus too. The things that I see, the things that I'm passionate about, because some of y'all don't know me from a can of paint, right? Some of y'all, this would be the first video that you see. And a lot of y'all won't even watch it to the end because it's clearly way longer than I anticipated it to be. And I forgot what I was about to say. Sorry about that. Use your head for more than a hat rack. Use your brain. God gave us all the choice to think for ourselves. When you turn on the news and everybody is saying the same thing across all platforms, ask yourself this. Does scripture really say that wide is the road to destruction and narrow is the road to righteousness? That's my, that's how I say it, but Look that up. There's a narrow path and a wide path. There's only one way to Jesus, or one way to God, and that's through Jesus. And so when they start widening that path and saying, oh, you can still get there, you just got to do this and do that. Y'all smarter than that, I know. You have to be. Because God created you in his image. And so for some of y'all, you may say, oh, well, she just repeating stuff that she heard and just that and the third. But for those of y'all who know me, y'all know better. I've been talking like this for a long time. I am led by my spirit. And I truly believe that the Spirit of God is in me. That's why I'm able to see through some of the rhetoric that's being pushed out. And my prayer is that you could see it too.